After more than a decade of love, war, sacrifice, and time travel, Outlander has officially come to an end. But strangely, the moment fans cannot stop talking about isn't the final goodbye, the emotional speeches, or even the ending itself. Instead, the fandom remains completely obsessed with one final mysterious scene, a haunting, almost spiritual moment that many viewers still don't fully understand. And now, after the finale aired, Sam, Heughan and Caitríona Balfe are finally opening up about what that mystical ending may truly mean. And honestly, their comments may change the way fans see the entire series forever. From the very beginning, Outlander * was never simply a historical romance. Yes, the story focused heavily on the emotional relationship between Jamie and Claire, but underneath that love story always existed something deeper and stranger. Time travel, destiny, spiritual connection, unexplained visions, and mysterious forces constantly surrounded the characters throughout the series. The finale appears to bring all of those elements together one final time. And fans were not prepared for how emotional, or how confusing, that final mystical moment would become. Almost immediately after the episode aired, theories exploded across the internet. Some viewers believed the ending confirmed long-running fan suspicions about spiritual connections transcending time itself. Others became convinced the scene hinted at an endless cycle of fate, suggesting Jamie and Claire's bond somehow exists beyond normal human understanding. And then came the biggest theory of all. Ghost Jamie. For years, fans wondered about the mysterious appearance of Jamie's spirit in the earliest part of the story. It remained one of the longest-running mysteries connected to Outlander *, and many viewers believed the finale's mystical atmosphere finally offered clues about its deeper meaning. While the series never gives completely direct answers, Sam and Caitríona's recent comments strongly suggest that ambiguity was intentional. Because according to them, the ending wasn't designed to explain everything logically. It was designed to make people feel something emotionally. That distinction matters enormously. In recent discussions, both actors described the finale as deeply spiritual and emotionally symbolic rather than completely literal. The final mystical moment reportedly represents the emotional heart of Outlander * itself, the idea that some connections are powerful enough to survive time, loss, distance, and even death. And honestly, that interpretation makes the ending even more emotional. Because suddenly the scene stops feeling like a puzzle fans need to solve. Instead, it becomes something much more personal. A final statement about Jamie and Claire's love transcending ordinary human limits. That's why so many viewers reacted so emotionally to the finale despite its ambiguity. The scene leaves room for interpretation, but emotionally it feels undeniable. There's a haunting beauty in the way the ending embraces mystery instead of trying to explain every supernatural element completely. And perhaps that was always the point of Outlander. After all, the series consistently treated time travel less like science fiction and more like fate. The stones were never merely mechanical portals between centuries. They represented destiny, emotional connection, sacrifice, and the invisible pull between souls meant to find each other across impossible distances. The finale appears to bring those ideas full circle. That's exactly why Sam and Caitríona's comments about the mystical ending have become so important to fans. Rather than shutting down theories completely, both actors seem to encourage audiences to experience the moment emotionally rather than analytically. They've hinted that the scene's true meaning depends partly on what viewers themselves believe about Jamie and Claire's connection. And that approach has only intensified fandom discussions. Some fans now believe the ending confirms that Jamie and Claire were spiritually connected long before they ever met physically. Others think the final scene suggests their love exists outside linear time entirely, almost as if destiny itself was always pulling them toward one another no matter what century separated them. And honestly, those theories feel perfectly aligned with the emotional spirit of Outlander itself. Because beneath all the battles, political conflicts, and historical drama, the show always revolved around one central idea: love powerful enough to survive anything. Even time. Even death. Even reality itself. That's why the mystical finale feels so emotionally devastating now that the series is over. Fans weren't simply watching a story end, they were watching the emotional themes of the entire show condensed into one final haunting moment. A moment that feels simultaneously beautiful, heartbreaking, comforting, and deeply mysterious all at once. And maybe that's exactly why people can't stop talking about it. Because unlike a traditional ending that closes every door neatly, Outlander chose to leave audiences with something far more emotional: wonder. The final mystical scene doesn't just end Jamie and Claire's story. It transforms it into something timeless. Something fans may continue debating, analyzing, and emotionally carrying with them long after the series itself has ended. What makes the final mystical moment of Outlander so unforgettable is that it doesn't feel like a traditional ending at all. It feels like a final emotional echo. Instead of giving audiences a completely clean explanation, the finale leaves viewers suspended somewhere between reality, memory, destiny, and spiritual connection. And according to Heughan and Caitríona Balfe, that emotional ambiguity was intentional from the very beginning. Because Outlander was never really about explaining magic scientifically. It was about what the magic represented emotionally. That's an important distinction many fans are only fully understanding now after the finale aired. Throughout the series, the supernatural elements were always deeply tied to love, fate, and emotional connection rather than strict logic. The stones, the visions, the dreams, the feeling of people finding each other across centuries, those things mattered emotionally more than mechanically. And the final mystical scene embraces that philosophy completely. That's why the ending hit audiences so hard emotionally. Fans weren't simply watching the conclusion of Jamie and Claire's story. They were watching the series transform their relationship into something almost eternal. Something that no longer feels limited by time itself. Which is exactly why the ghost theories exploded again immediately after the finale. For years, viewers remained obsessed with the mysterious appearance of Jamie's spirit near the very beginning of the story. It became one of the biggest unanswered questions in the entire fandom, and many fans believed the finale would finally provide a clear explanation. Instead, the ending seems to lean into mystery deliberately, suggesting that some emotional truths may matter more than literal answers. And honestly, that choice feels incredibly fitting for Outlander. Because the emotional core of the series was never really about whether time travel made sense. It was about whether love could survive impossible separation, impossible pain, and impossible distances. The finale appears to answer that question not with dialogue, but with feeling. A haunting feeling that lingers long after the final scene ends. That's why Sam and Caitríona's recent comments about the mystical moment became so important to fans. Rather than explaining the scene directly, both actors seem to describe it almost spiritually, as if the ending exists more as an emotional experience than a puzzle meant to be solved completely. And fans are deeply divided over that approach. Some viewers absolutely love the ambiguity because it keeps the emotional magic of Outlander alive even after the series ends. They believe the mystery allows Jamie and Claire's story to feel timeless, almost mythic. Others desperately wanted clearer answers after investing so many years into the story's supernatural mysteries. But even those fans admit the ending is emotionally unforgettable. Because whether people fully understand the mystical moment or not, they feel it. That emotional impact is impossible to deny. The final scenes carry a strange atmosphere unlike anything else in the series: quiet, reflective, spiritual, almost dreamlike. It feels less like watching characters simply finish a story and more like witnessing two souls becoming part of something larger than ordinary life itself. And perhaps that's why the finale feels so heartbreaking. Not because it's tragic in a traditional sense, but because it forces audiences to let go emotionally while simultaneously suggesting that Jamie and Claire's connection never truly ends. The story may be over physically, but spiritually the relationship feels infinite. That idea transforms the ending from simple goodbye into something much more haunting and beautiful. Fans especially became emotional hearing Sam and Caitríona discuss how meaningful that final mystical tone was for them personally. After living with these characters for more than a decade, both actors seem to understand that the finale needed to feel emotionally transcendent somehow. Not just dramatic. Timeless. And maybe that's exactly what the ending achieved. Because long after the final episode aired, audiences still aren't discussing plot details as much as they're discussing feeling. The feeling of destiny. The feeling of souls connected across centuries. The feeling that Jamie and Claire's love somehow exists beyond ordinary human rules. That emotional atmosphere is what fans are carrying with them now after Outlander * ended. Not certainty. Not complete answers. But wonder. And perhaps for a story built on mystery, fate, and impossible love, that may have been the most perfect ending imaginable.